What is a spiritual marriage? Essentially, it's a binding. I know that there's a lot of romantic ideologies that, surround the word marriage. And when we think about marriage, we're thinking about something cute and amazing and adorable and whatnot. But when you go into the spiritual world and the practice of Vodou, oftentimes when we're using the word marriage, we mean binding. And so I don't want you guys to rush into something that you're not ready for, because you can divorce your regular partner and it's a lot harder to divorce the spirit that you're now essentially bound to. Now, why would anyone even want to do this? It's because there's a kind of spiritual contract that happens when you go through with it. There's a sense of responsibility that the spirit has towards you. So it can be definitely beneficial, to know that they have that spirit has that additional level of commitment to you, your life, and your interests. It can seem like a great deal, but what are you giving up in return is the question. Now, me personally, spiritual marriage is enough for me. Not really. I'm not anywhere near that, because I really enjoy my freedom. I really enjoy certain things that I can do. I like slacking off sometimes. I like doing certain things in the way that I want to do it. The minute you essentially get married to a spirit, then you are now beholden to certain things that they expect of you. You cannot compromise on certain things. They come sometimes even before your partners. In some ways, your relationship takes priority over the way that you interact or that you might want to interact with your children. Now, I'm not saying that it takes priority over your children, though it definitely sometimes will take priority over your partner. It's just that sometimes your children are not, so you might want to do something or whatever on a specific day or whatnot, or you might want, to pursue something different because you had your kids in mind, but you can't because you have certain commitments that you also have to, you have to be beholden to, almost like having an additional child. But it goes further than that, because now that child can make decisions for you. So it's not just like you have to make decisions in mind for your kid, but now it's like, ugh. So me personally, I'm not gonna do it. It doesn't make sense for me. It just doesn't. But a lot of people will jump into these things without really knowing what it means, because the word marriage makes it sound so cute. It makes it sound so adorable. Like, oh my God, I love Ezili Freda. I love Ezili Bourrin. I just like hit me and so and such. We're such good pals. Why don't we just get married? And honestly, now you could get stuck with a lot of spiritual responsibility you ain't see coming. Some of the priests and priestess that put people into spiritual marriages do so because this is a service that they can charge you a lot of money for. Now, we're not here to talk about the price though, because everybody has their price and for their reasons. And if you feel like it's worth it, that's between you, God, and the spirits in them. But if they haven't explained to you all the things that might be required of you, I'm here to tell you that you want to slow down. Lately, I've been hearing a lot of things about spiritual marriages within the Vodou community, and part of that will include, you need marriage to balance your core. Like, and if you marry one or two, that means you have to marry, these 3 and 4 other people and stuff. And if you're doing this with a Garaloa, you have to get married to this Pitwolwa, or or they'll get jealous or whatnot. That's so strange to me, because I grew up in Vodou. I wasn't like initiated into a house. I was raised on, my spiritual mom is my birth mom, and I've been around the Vodou community for quite a few years. And usually it's the law that tells you that it's time to get married, through dreams, through signs, sometimes through a reading. But there should be like communication and internal, like, confirmation between you and your spiritual team. And so I will have people come to me and they'll be like, yeah, I thought everything was great, but now I need like 3 or 4 different marriages or whatever. And no, you don't. No, you don't. If there is some kind of imbalance within your spiritual situation, within your court, and within your spiritual team, you can address that without getting married. It's usually a matter of offering, sometimes healing, doing services, doing like transformational, like rituals and stuff. Or sometimes it's an issue with your habitación, OG issues that you may have inherited from your family and from your blood. And so you can address those. But marriage is usually binding in a deeper sense. And what it can do is enhance certain things. But usually it's not necessarily going to fix something that's broken per se, not all on its own. Now sometimes you could have a especially persistent spirit that like keeps wanting it, and they keep trying. But if you're like me, you'll just ignore that motherfucker. No, for real. I have been in a situation like homegirl over here last year, and she's honestly been asking for it for years, and I've still not given it to her because she's so particular. Like the way that she works, it's so particular that honestly I don't want to jump into something that I can't really fully commit to. Especially as a mom boy, I know better than that. I'm not gonna do that to myself. And so, who would we say are the best candidates for spiritual marriage? Me personally, I think it's the people who have been practicing for a long time or people who are raised in the tradition. And I say that because the changes in your life are not that like they don't feel so grand, you know? If you just hopped in here and you just started practicing and now you have all these expectations, all these things, like you're gonna get worn out. You'll probably make mistakes. It'll make you less likely to want to continue practicing, and you might end up causing harm to yourself, loved ones, and your ability to practice. But if you've been in the game for quite a few years, or you're raised in tradition, and it's already kind of a way of life where so many things within your practice, your day to day, and your community and your just lifestyle is very much ingrained within Vodou, then it's nothing but a thing to, get married, to make an exchange or something. It seems like an eventual next step for some people. Now, then you have to acknowledge your partner. Because if they are not someone who practices voodoo and they're not someone who's really deep into the religion or any kind of practice or anything, it might also be hard for them because it's kind of like being in a throuple, Now you're gonna have to tell them like, oh, certain days we can't have sex, certain days we can't do this, certain times we can't do that. There are certain things that I have to put, and you just have to be okay with it. And so if they don't really understand the practice and they don't understand the specific reasons why these things might apply to you, it can create some strain within your relationship. And so even if you have been practicing for a while, you want to acknowledge your partner, especially if it's someone you love. If it's me you give a fuck, I mean, that's between you, God, the spirits, and them. But if it's someone that you really want to build something with, you want to make sure that your spiritual marriage finds a way to live cohesively within your life. Now, I'm all for following the path that works for you and me and everybody else, but I also really, really like my balance. There are some times in my life where I'm more spiritually focused than others, but there are certain times in my life where I really want to prioritize the physical, the aspect that isn't so spiritual, because this isn't my whole identity. And so that can become hard if I haven't created the kind of, atmosphere and understanding with my spiritual team that sometimes I need them to back off. Which is another reason why I have held back for many years off of doing any kind of marriage, and why I will probably hold off for more years to come, because it's just not something that will make much of a difference in the way that I practice. So if you're thinking about it, I can see why. There are a lot of benefits to knowing that you have an additional level of spiritual backup. There's really great things that can come from the relationship, because it is really beautiful if done right. If both people, the person, the spirit, whatever, are in the right sense, they are in this together. The spirit genuinely wanted it from you. It's not just some priest telling you they wanted it because they're trying to make a buck off of you. If the spirit genuinely wanted it and you want it, and you know that it's right for you, then it can be quite a beautiful experience to see for people in the way that they connect with their spirits. So hopefully this gives you guys some more understanding. I really appreciate you guys, and more information to come just in regards to spirituality, just understanding spirituality, Vodou as a whole, and your place in it.